up in my OneNote so I can kind of show you what I got here. And really what I wanted to do this evening was answer any questions that you guys might have out of the review. And so if there's any questions in particular that you have, you can turn on your mic and say, sir, can you do number 7 or can you do number 15, whatever happens to be. Or if you feel more comfortable putting it in the chat, you can definitely put it in the chat. So, and the other thing I did is I did a review session earlier today, y'all, with one of my other classes. And the way I kind of did theirs was I kind of put the review like this. And I would ask, does anybody have any questions, like in this case, from 1 through 5? And if you want, we can do it like that. So if there's any questions from here, 1 through 5, that you want me to look at or go over, then we can definitely do that. So if you got a particular question, y'all, I'm happy to answer it. But if you want to do it like this, we can do it like this too. Anybody have any questions from 1 through 5 that anybody wants to ask me about? Are we good through 1 through 5? All right. What about, we'll do it like this. What about 6, 7, or 8? Anybody have any questions from 6, 7, or 8 that anybody wants to ask about? You good with these? Okay. 9 or 10? Anybody got any questions about 9 or 10? Let's see, I heard something in the chat. Number 7. Okay, so let's go back and let's do number 7. Okay. So number 7 says, find the center radius form of the equation of a circle described and then graph it. Okay. So excellent question. So guys, when we're talking about the center radius form of the equation of a circle, the center radius form of the equation of a circle looks like this. X minus h squared, y minus k squared equals r squared. So the center of the circle is the point h and k, and r is for the radius, okay? So in this case, they've already told us what the center is, and they've told us the radius. So what we're going to do, we're going to say the center in this case is 1, 0. Oops. Better. This is 1, 0, and our radius in this case is 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this equation right here, and I'm just going to fill in the blanks. So I'm going to write x minus, in this case, 1 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 2 squared. So x minus 1, I can't do anything with that. Y minus 0, y'all, is just y, but it's still being squared, equals 4. So my equation is going to look like this. It's going to be x minus 1 squared plus y squared is equal to 4. Okay? And then it wants me to graph it. So what I would do is, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the center of the circle, which is 1, 0. So 1, 0 is going to be this point right here, right? And because the radius of the circle is 2, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go 2 spaces to the right, 2 spaces to the left, 2 spaces up, 2 spaces down, and I'll draw my circle like that, right? And so you can see as I'm writing it here on the paper for you guys, or right on my screen, but I'm going to show you guys, let's see, oops. I'm going to show you guys how to do this on my lab, or on my math lab. So let's see, this was number 7, right? So let me share my screen with you guys so you can see what it is I'm doing. And Okay, so guys, right here I'm going to type in exactly what I had earlier, which was x minus 1, and then I'm going to square it. So right here, squared plus y squared equals, and I said 4. I'm going to check my answer here. Good, excellent. Okay, and now I'm going to do my graph. So guys, remember, I'm obviously graphing a circle, so I'm going to click the little circle in here. First thing we do, notice what it says, plot the center of our circle. So the center of my circle was 1, 0, right? And now, because our radius is 2, I'm going to move 1, 2, click it right there, save it, check it, and we got it done, okay? So I hope that made sense. And guys, when I did this part here and I clicked on the center and then I went to the right, I could have gone 2 up, I could have gone 2 to the left, I could have gone 2 down. I just went 2 to the right because it was, it's pretty easy to do that. Right, but what direction did I go in? It doesn't really make a difference. You could have gone up, down, left, right. It would have all worked the same. So excellent question. Very good. All right, so that was number 7. I'll tell you what. Anybody have any questions? 8, 9, or 10 that y'all want me to look at? We'll just kind of keep doing it like this, y'all. If there's any questions y'all have, we can go over them together. And I can also show you how to type them in, like on my lab, so you can see how it's working out. So we're good. 8, 9, 10. So let's scroll down. 11 is the same way. What about anybody got any questions about 12 or 13? You good with these? We're good with 12 or 13. Okay. Anybody have any questions about 14, 15, or 16? I think I heard something here. 15 and 14. Okay, so let's do them both. So let's start with 14, y'all, and then we'll go ahead and do 15. Okay, so 14 here says, two functions f and g are related by the given equation. Use a numerical representation of f to make a representation of g. Okay, so look at the way they're describing g of x. So they're telling me that g of x is equal to f of x plus 5. Okay, so because g of x is written like this, y'all, and there's no change to the inside part right here, that means the only thing affecting are the y values, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the y values for my f of x, which is I'm looking at this row right here. And what I'm going to do with each, notice what it says. It says we're going to take these values of f of x and we're going to add 5. So I'm going to go plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. So negative 1 plus 5 is going to give me 4. Negative 5 plus 5 is going to give me 0. 4 plus 5 will give me 9. And negative 1 plus 5 will give me 4, right? So I'm going to have 4, 0, 9, and 4. And this was number 14. So look, let's go to number 14 on the actual review. And I'll pull it up so you guys can see it. Wrong one. Here we go. Number 14, we said. So let me scroll down to 14. Okay. And so here I had 4. Here we had 0. Oops. 0. Here we had 9. And here we had 4. And we're going to check our answer, and we got it. Okay. And so, guys, I'll show you how I'm going to do this one too. So let me stop sharing this real quick, and we'll come back and do number 15, and we'll do it the same way, okay? So I want you to look at number 15. Number 15, very, very similar to 14, but notice this part right here, how we have that x plus 1 on the inside. That means we're changing our x values, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new table for my g of x, okay? Now, I want you to notice here, there is a plus 1. When it's on the inside, what we're really doing when there's that plus 1 on the inside, we're moving everything to the left one space, okay? Which means we're actually, kind of zoom out a little bit, we're actually going to subtract, I know it says plus, but we're actually going to subtract 1 from each of the x values, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these x values here, and I'm going to subtract 1 from every one of them. So 1 minus 1 is going to give me 0. 2 minus 1 is going to give me 1. 3 minus 1 is going to give me 2. 3, 4, and 5, okay? On the inside, what I mean by the inside is this piece right here. If it has a plus 1, you're actually going to subtract. If it would have had a minus 1, you're actually going to add. You're going to do the opposite, okay? But on the outside, over here, how we have this minus 2, we're going to subtract 2 from each of these numbers, okay? So 2 minus 2 is going to give me 0. 4 minus 2 is going to give me 2. 5 minus 2 is going to give me 3. 6 minus 2 is going to give me 4. 7 minus 2 is going to give me 5. And 10 minus 2 is going to give me 8. Okay. Now, I want you to look at the table that I have here. And I want you to look at the table that we have right here. There's only one thing different. Here, excuse me, here we have the numbers 1 through 5. Here we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So really what we're doing is we're just looking at this part of the table. So I'm going to put 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8 right there, okay? I'm not using the first part just because it didn't have that on the table, so I'm not going to worry about that part, okay? So now look, I'm going to stop sharing this so that I can share the actual problem with you guys. Okay, here we go. Okay, and let me see, the numbers that I had were 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. So I'm going to put the numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 8. And I'm going to go chickadee check. And we got it. Okay. So, so let me stop sharing this part here real quick, and let me come back to my notes so we can see what it is we're doing. So guys, anytime we have, and I'll tell you what, we'll even do 16 because 16 is very similar. Anytime when I'm looking at my function, right, the way they're describing it to us here. So I'm just going to write it so it's a little bit bigger. Anytime there's anything happening in here on the inside, that's going to change my x values, okay? If we had something going on over here, that would change my y values. Whatever we have on the inside, when it's changing my x values, think of what it's telling me to do. It says +1, and you're actually going to do the opposite, okay? So what I'm really going to do, because it's a +1 here, we're going to move to the left one space, okay? Which means I'm going to take my x values, and I'm actually going to subtract 1 from each of my x values, okay? And because nothing is going on here, I'm not going to change my y values. So what I would do is I would make a table that would look like this. And I would look at each of those x values, and I'm just going to subtract 1 from each of them. So I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then my y values are going to stay exactly the same, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. This is the way I would write it out, right? And I'm going to put a g of x here because that's what we're dealing with. And then I would say, okay, which one of these, which one of my A, B, C, or D looks like what I wrote down. And I would say it looks like D is going to be my answer, right? And so if I stop sharing this and I come back to my problem, and we said we were going to go to the next question, so here we go. We're going to go 16, and I said I was going to select D, and I'm going to go check my answer, and we got the question right. Okay. So let me see. Did going through those three problems, did that make sense on how to do problems like 14, 15, and 16? Like, you all feel like you have at least a better understanding or a better idea on how to approach that type thing? Let's see. Yeah, good, excellent, good. You're welcome, Jessica. Perfect. All right. Well, I really wanted to make sure. Good, Jose. I just really wanted to make sure that you guys kind of understood the concept. And when it's on the inside, we're changing the x values, and when it's on the outside, you're changing the y values. And guys, by the way, when you're changing the y values, if it says +5, add 5 to each of the y values. If it says -2, then go ahead and subtract 2 from each of the y values. It's only on the inside that if it says +1, you're actually going to subtract. Or if it says -3, you're actually going to add. Only on the inside. That's the one time you do the opposite. Good, good, good. All right. You know what? I don't know if I am. Yeah, we're recording. Okay. So let me scroll down, and I'll tell you what. We will look at problems like 17, 18, and 19. Anybody have any questions out of 17, 18, or 19? Good with these three? Okay, then let me scroll a little further. Anybody have any questions about 20 or 21? Did you want me to take a look at? Number 20, definitely. Okay, so guys, let me zoom in here, and let's take a look at number 20. So for number 20, what we're going to do here, it's telling me to find f of g of 1. So guys, there's a process on how I do this. So I'm going to put f and then g of 1. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, it's kind of like we would do order of operations back in the day. I need to find what g of 1 is. So I want you to notice g is the red line and f is the blue one. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cruise along the x-axis until x is equal to 1. So I'm right here. And I want to figure out what's the value of g. So I'm going to go up, and the value of g when x equals 1 is 2. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, instead of writing a g of 1, we know that g of 1 is equal to 2. Okay. All right. Now we're going to do the next part. So f of 2 means we're going to cruise along the x-axis until x equals 2. And then we want to figure out what's the value of f. Well, if you notice, we're already hitting f right there. So that number happens to be 0. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing again for part B. So part B says, let's find g of f of 1. So I'm going to put g first, and then we're going to find f of 1. Okay. So let me clean up this mess. So remember what f of 1 means. It means I'm going to go to the x-axis until x is equal to 1. And then I want to figure out if I have to go up or down to hit the f function. Since f function is the blue one, I have to go down. And the number that we're coming up with here is at -1. Okay. So now, the way I'm going to find g of -1 is I'm going to go to the x-axis, and I'm going to go until x equals -1, and I want to find the value of g. Well, we're already hitting the red line. So that happens to be at 0. Okay. And let's do the third part, okay? So we're going to do g of 0. So we're going to figure out what is g of 0. We've got to do this part first. So g of 0 says we're going to go right here to when x is equal to 0. And we want to go up until we hit the g function. So when we go up, we're coming up with the number 1. Okay? Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to figure out what is g of 1. So we're going to go on the x-axis until we hit 1, and then we want to find the value of g at that point, and it's equal to 2. And so those are that's basically how I do number 20. Did that make sense as the way we kind of did it in pieces? Did number 20 work? Did I do okay, you guys? Yeah, good. Okay, just checking. All right, excellent. I'm glad it's working, guys. Okay, so let's take a look. Anybody need 21, or you guys feel you're okay with 21? Do you want me to go through it, or y'all okay? Just let me know, guys. I'm happy to do whatever questions you guys have. Okay, so let's keep moving along then. Let me see. Let me scroll down here and put it like this. Anybody have any questions about 22 or 23? Any questions from 22 or 23? Number 22, definitely. So let's take a look at number 22. And it says, find a quadratic function whose graph matches the one in the figure. Okay. So guys, the way we're going to do this problem, kind of similar to the way we did the one with the circle. So we're going to write out the form of our quadratic function in what we call vertex form. Okay. So the vertex here is the point H and K. Okay. So remember, the vertex is going to be this point in our case. So the vertex is the point 1, 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write f of x equals a x minus 1 squared plus 2. And all I'm doing is I'm plugging in this number here and this number here. Okay. Now, the other thing is we do have another point. Okay. So we have this point right here, the 0, negative 2. Remember, this stands for the x and this stands for the y. So the f of x really is the same thing as y. So right here, I'm going to put the number negative 2 equals a. The x number in this case was 0, so I'm going to put a 0 minus 1 squared plus 2. Now, guys, what I need to do is I need to solve for the letter a. So 0 minus 1 is a negative 1, but it's going to be squared plus 2. And so here I have negative 2 equals, well, negative 1 squared is actually a positive 1. And 1 times a is just an a plus 2. And I'm going to go ahead and go minus 2 on both sides. Okay. So those are going to cancel. Minus 2 and a minus 2 is a minus 4 equals a. Right? So now that we have that part, what we're going to do is we're going to come back to this right here. And everywhere I have the letter a, I'm now going to plug in the number negative 4. Right here. So I'm coming up with f of x equals negative 4, and then x minus 1 squared plus 2. If you think about the picture, y'all, so if I look at my picture, look at my parabola. My parabola is opening down, which tells me that my number a should be negative. In this case, it was a negative 4. And to show you that I'm telling you the truth here, we can go ahead and check our answer. So if I come back over here and we say, okay, let's go ahead and do this problem. And this was number, is it 20? No, it was 20 something, 21 maybe. Here we go. It was number 22. Okay, so we came up with a negative 4, parentheses, x minus 1, close them off. We got to square it, and then a plus 2, like that. We can go check our answer, and we got it right, okay? So good deal, good deal. All right. So we can keep going here. So that was number 22, okay? And I'll go like this, and we'll see. Anyone have any questions about 23, 24, 25, or 26? Any of those four questions? Are we good with 23 through 26? Okay, so then let me keep scrolling. Let's see. Anyone have any questions about 27 or 28? Anybody got any questions about 27 or 28? Alrighty. So then we'll keep moving along. Let's see. Anyone have any questions about 29 or 30? 29 or 30? Okay. Let's see. Anyone have any questions about 31, 32, or 33? Oops. Anyone have any questions about any of these here, 31, 32, or 33? Thirty-two. Okay. So yeah, let's definitely do 32. So guys, 32 says find an approximate irrational solution to 3 to the power x equals 5. Okay. So this here is what we call an exponential equation, okay, because the variable appears as the exponent. So I want you to think about this equation for a minute. 3 to the power x is equal to 5. So if I were to say, let's plug in x equals 1. Well, 3 to the first power is just 3. And if I were to say, what happens if x is equal to 2? Well, 3 squared is 9, right? And we're trying to come up with what answer? We're trying to come up with 5, right? And isn't 5 somewhere in between 3 and 9? So since 5 is somewhere between 3 and 9, the answer that we should get should be a number somewhere between 1 and 2. So if I'm trying to solve 3 to the power x is equal to 5, the way we can do this, guys, is we can take logarithms, okay? And the reason why we're going to take a logarithm is because there's a certain property that says if you take the logarithm and you have a power, that power will move down to the front. Now, our calculators, guys, only know how to do 2 types of logarithms. Something we call the common logarithm, which is with the base 10, or the natural logarithm, which is the ln button, okay? It doesn't really matter which one you use, you just got to be consistent. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the ln, okay? But what I could have used this one and it would work the same way. Now, there's a property that says that when I have an exponent, that exponent can come down to the front. So I'm going to have x times the natural log of 3 is equal to the natural log of 5. And then what we're going to do on both sides is we're just going to divide by the natural log of 3 on both cases. And we'll end up with the natural log of 5 over the ln of 3. Now, the directions I want to say, it says something about, round it to 4 decimal places, okay? So guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this part right here on my calculator. So I'm going to type in exactly what I see right here on my calculator, okay? Now guys, whether you're using the calculator or whether you're using your calculator app, it doesn't really make any difference, okay? It's going to work the same way. So let me do this. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go like this. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to turn this thing on and clear it out, and I'm just going to hit this ln button. But guys, you could have used this little log button too. So we have the ln of 5. Now my calculator opens up parentheses, so I got to close them. Divided by the ln of 3. And remember we said our answer should be, it should be an answer somewhere between 1 and 2. And if you notice what we're coming up with, 1.46. If I'm going to go to 4 decimal places, guys, since that 9, the number to the right of it is a 7, that's actually going to become 1.4650, right? So let me stop doing this part here. And what I'll do is I'll come back to the actual homework problem. And this was number 32, I want to say. Yes. And I'm coming up with 1.4650. And I'm going to check my answer. And we got it right, okay? And so guys, let me show you one more thing real quick on the calculator before I go on to any other problems. If you notice when I did the problem on the calculator, I used the ln button, right? If I change the ln to the log, it works the same way. So look, if I do the log 5, close it off, divided by log 3, close it off, I'm still going to, close it off, I'm going to get that same exact answer. Which one do you use? It's up to you. The only thing you can't do, guys, you can't mix and match, right? So you can't use ln on the top, log on the bottom, or anything like that. But whichever one you use, just be consistent, okay? Excellent question. So let's see. Let's go back to our notes. And let's see if we have any other questions here. Okay, so that was number 32. Okay. Anybody have any questions like 33, 34, or 35? Any of those that anybody might have? We can go over any of those. Okay, let me keep scrolling then. So I'll tell you what, let's do it like this. Anybody have any questions on 30, let me do it this way. 36, 37, 38, or 39? Anybody have questions about these? 38, yes, let's do 38. Okay, so the way we're going to find the determinant. So guys, the nice thing about these problems here is that I kept it to 2 by 2, so it should be easier to do the determinant. When we do the determinant, the way we're going to do is we're going to multiply these numbers along the diagonal. So -4 times 2, and then we're going to subtract when we multiply these numbers here, which is 10 times -1. So -4 times 2 is a -8. And then this right here is going to become a +10. So that should give me a 2. Okay. So when I go to 39 on my actual problem here, so we said this was number 39, right? Yes. Let me make sure. Yeah. We came up with a +2. So I'm going to put +2 right here. I'm going to check my answer, and we got it right. Okay. So good deal, good deal. Let's see. Let me come back to my notes. Okay. Did anybody have any questions about 40 or 41? You good with these two? All right. So guys, I know that the final is still a week away. So one of the things I want to do real let me stop sharing this part here, and I'm going to share. Let's see, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to put it in student mode so when you look at this, it looks exactly like the way you guys see it. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So here we are on our Blackboard page. So guys, if I click on announcements, right, and I click on this announcement right here. Okay, so obviously we're doing the review session today. So you guys have 2 times that you can take your test, and basically it's a week. The first one is a week from the day. So next Wednesday at 10 a.m. or next Thursday at 6:30. And here's a sign-up sheet. So guys, if you haven't yet signed up, please go ahead and sign up. So I know that the final is still, a week or a week and a day away. So I'm guessing that not everybody has had a chance to look at the review. So guys, just one thing I wanted to mention is that, oh, here we go. So the review has 41 questions, right? So I picked 20 questions that came directly from those 41, all right? So when I say directly, the numbers are going to change, but the problem is going to be the same problem, all right? So 20 questions. Anyway, like I'm saying, I know the the test is not till another week, but the one thing I wanted to mention is the reason I was doing the review session tonight instead of next week is next week I'm testing every day at 10 a.m. and at 6:30 p.m. for all my classes, right? So if between now and next Wednesday morning, if you decide to take the final then, or next Thursday night, if you have questions, message me on Pronto or message me on Remind. I'll do the problem, I'll make a video of it, and I'll send it out to the entire class, okay? So if there's something that we didn't get a chance to go over tonight, just because you haven't had a chance to go through the review yet, don't worry about it. When you get stuck, take a picture of the problem, send it to me, I'll make a video, I'll send it out to the class, okay? Now guys, if you send it to me next week and I'm testing, I'll do the video once I'm done with my exam, okay? But know that you can still ask me questions throughout the week, and the formula sheet, guys, is right here. So if you need to get to the formula sheet, know that you can do that. And then, guys, the other thing I really wanted to mention is that remember, class assignments 1 and 2 are due by next Thursday. So I know some of you guys have already turned them in. In case you haven't, just to let you know, I made it easier so you can find it. So like right here, week 3 is here in class assignment 1, and week 14 has class assignment 2. So I labeled them in there so you can find them easy. Okay. So if you haven't had a chance yet to submit them, please do so that I can record the grades and upload all that kind of good stuff and get you with the right averages and whatnot. Okay. So let me stop sharing this and let's see. Here we go. Okay. So, like I said, guys, y'all got questions, message me throughout the week. I'm happy to answer them for you guys. If there's anything that you guys need from me, just let me know, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys out, okay? So, if y'all don't have any other questions, y'all, we'll call it a night here. But, like I said, I'm happy to help. Anything you guys need, just let me know. You're doing well. Hope you guys are staying safe. And I'll let you guys go, okay? So thank y'all for showing up, guys. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.